So by this stage, hopefully you've developed something very strong and we're almost ready to begin preparing and using it. But there are just a few last bits of fine-tuning you might want to do before we sign off on this. Now, the most glaringly obvious element that's missing at the moment should be colour. And you may have noticed that in my sample project for the Totteridge Bakehouse, I've kept all the design in black and white up until this point. Now, that's completely deliberate. I like to develop a logo in black and white, focus on its shape and its form, and then I use colour, which can be quite a powerful emotional element, to fine-tune the tone and take the design across the finish line. My reasoning is that if it's strong enough to work well in black and white, then it can look absolutely incredible once you take it to colour. For example, let's say I wanted to push the high-end aspect of this brand even further and almost align this with fine dining. Well, look at the difference an elegant green-gold combination makes. Or look at how the energy of the logo changes if I use a softer blue and lilac combination. So don't worry, I'm not going to even attempt to teach you colour theory in a single lesson. But again, I found this is a really powerful tool to save until the end to fine-tune your design. Now, aside from colour, this is also your last chance to make any last tweaks or adjustments to your logo itself. So it's good practice to take another look back at the brief and just ask yourself, is there anything further I could do to enhance this, to make it better communicate the values we set out to convey? It can also be a good time to take your logo under the microscope, particularly if you're trying to either tweak or create your own custom font. Well, here's an example of some finishing touches I made with this logo type for my client CC Netrol London. So as you can see here, we decided the C's would work better with an angled end rather than the flat vertical ones in the current version at the top. So to accomplish that, I mirrored the C shapes, overlaid them, subtracted the little angled area in blue, and then merged the result to create a new C, which had the angled ends we wanted. Then we also felt the E and the L were just a little too narrow compared to the other characters in this typeface, so I added sections to these. And you may notice the E also looks a little better balanced, just leaving that middle horizontal stroke shorter than the top and bottom ones. Next, we then felt the N for London was just a little too sharp compared to other flat characters, and I believe the original font used here was Futura. So again, I tweaked this to create a flatter, blunter version that was more in keeping with the other characters. So look at your logo under that figurative microscope. Is there anything that bothers you about the type or the symbol? And if you're someone who up until now tends to just use a font as it comes out of a box, don't be afraid to, in whichever software package you're comfortable with, start outlining and making tweaks and adjustments to it. It can sometimes be well worth doing that to create something that's truly unique. So whichever type of logo you've created, whether it has a monogram, a symbol, or just logo type, this is the chance to make those last adjustments. When you're happy, then you're ready to prepare your files for use. It will depend on the software you're using, but I'll explain which file formats we need to export in the next lesson.